Back for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Undertone. I think it didn't do so well as they thought. Nina, Kiri, Adam DiMarco. Adam DiMarco, who I've never met before, I've never watched before. Go see something very bad is going to happen. Great show on Netflix. Got to go check it out. He's in that. Just been introduced to him. But check out my previous video on that, or my other video on that. That would be cool. Um, the host of a popular paranormal podcast becomes haunted by a terrifying recording mysteriously sent her way. Folk horror, monster horror, psychological horror, supernatural horror, sci-fi thriller, all that good stuff. 6.0 on IMDb, 10,698 people rated it so far. Hopefully you heard that. 10,000 whatever people rated it 6.0. This, I got to put the name of this gimbal up there because it's just anywho. I wasn't necessarily going to watch this, but if I told you something very bad is going to happen, got me in a mood for a more twisted kind of movie. So check out that show. But I'll let you know what I think of this movie. Stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Undertone, and I think this movie takes a lot of different chances, and for the most part, I like that. I don't know if they win all the chances that they take, um, but it makes it more unique. It's not what your run of the mill scary movie, and it is scary. I think there's images, there's sounds and stuff like that that are. It's not like gory or anything like that, but it's more afraid to turn off the lights kind of stuff, right? And Undertone is the name of their podcast. And we'll talk about a little bit of their chances, right? So when I say chance, take risks. They take some risks. Let's reframe that. They take a lot of risks, I think, which is cool because it makes it unique, like I said. So she's on a podcast. This girl, I forget her name. I don't think I've seen her in anything. And then Adam DiMarco, who I've been talking about, who was in that other TV show. Go check that out. He's also in The White Lotus, I think the second season. He was younger. I guess, I don't know, maybe not, because you don't see him. But she's the only one. They have a podcast together. The only other character, visual character, is her mother, right? So she lives in a home with her mother. Her mother is disabled. She's in bed. She's kind of catatonic, whatever, just laying there, kind of stuff. That adds a little creepy element to it, just like that. But she's doing this podcast every night at like 3 o'clock with her friend, and they talk about supernatural stuff. And but you never see him; it's just his voice. So the movie takes place in one setting, that home, and it really has minimal actors in it, right? So they're really it. They listen to recordings or recordings of another couple and some things that happened to them. And that's what the whole movie's about. This podcast where they're exploring. Um, I don't know what his character name was, Justin or something like that. Doesn't matter. He receives these files, 10 files that they say listen to, and so they're doing that and recording a podcast. And in those files is this couple, and as they listen to these things, things start to happen to them. Right. So the podcast is called Undertone. That's why the movie's called that. So the risks there are the fact that minimal setting. I mean, minimalistic kind of like one room, not one room, but one location, right? And no actors really being in it. So with that kind of thing, it's hard in a scary movie, a horror movie. They rely so much on visual scares, and there are some, but when you can't go to different locations, it makes it difficult. So that's a risk. But I would normally don't really enjoy those. They get to you after a while, but it's like those, how everybody's doing the internet. You're online on the computer and your POV is the computer screen, kind of gets that vibe to it. The actress, again, can't remember her name. I'm not going to look it up. She reminded me of Jenna Ortega. But anyway, so um, it gets the ritual, mysterious black magic with religion tied into it, kind of thing, right? So and they go over the other interesting thing is playing like children's music, like Baba Black Sheep, Rockabye Baby, all those kinds of things, and it's playing into this like, hey, these songs weren't like lullabies; they were meant to scare kids or tell kids about how bad parents can be or adults or whatever. So that's all in there, and you're playing it backwards, and you're listening to different things within there, which is interesting in itself. I'm sure I've heard that before, but never enough to go down a rabbit hole. But this makes you want to. But doing this is like the whole idea is things start happening to Abby, who is our main character, and they maybe shouldn't be doing what they're doing by viewing all these 10 files, right? So all that said, then we get the ending, right? I don't even know if I said how long this one is. Hour and 34 minutes, and I'm sure 4 minutes was Chris, so an hour and a half film. The ending, and I think they take a big risk with the ending. Um, but again, I like some of the risks that they take. Some of them work out, some of them don't. But again, it's not your everyday film. So there you go. I think I touched on. I didn't even take any notes. I was intrigued the whole time. I got on my phone for a little bit, but it was mainly looking at the actors, like finding out who they were, what they've been in, where I've seen them before. It wasn't really like checking baseball scores or anything like that. So I was intrigued by this whole thing. I'm not sure why it didn't get better reviews. Probably because of those risks I talked about. But if you're into, you know, these types of scary movies, and I think it ties, like I said, something very bad is going to happen. Not directly, but this is more, I don't know, but I think it was worth a watch. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I appreciate what everybody tried to do in this one. Um, and I'm sure they kept it low budget, so it's probably successful. I don't know anything about financing movies or anything like that, but there you go. That's what I got. Hopefully, I didn't leave anything out. Hopefully, this was helpful. Let me know. Love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.